What's up, everybody? Welcome to another great episode of Live from the Bench. I feel like we're getting back into our cycle again, and it feels really, really good.
You're back on your cycle again. I'm sorry. You
That's
need
not what I meant.
products.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm GQ, and I'm with the football guy, Boulevard, and we are the
Boulevard.
the brothers.
Hooked on the brothers.
And today's episode, we're gonna answer the question: are these NFL teams actually good?
Some
And then
may
we're gonna
be.
do that a special way.
In a way that they're not that good. Or they're just not good enough to win a Super Bowl. Or the reality is they're not nowhere near as good as we think they are. We call this, what do we call this?
We call this segment of the Live from the Bench show Dozers, Posers, Closers.
Oh, I see words.
All right. So, Boulevard, if you don't mind, for those who have not seen an episode of Dozers, Posers, Closers, could you let everyone know at home what the Dozers, Posers, Closers are?
Okay. I'll give an example, and I don't necessarily want to use one of these teams, but I know it's going to come up anyway. So let's say a team has a 500 record and is sitting atop of their division. Now, as far as this team a true contender, or are they a fake contender, or are they just happy to be here, I guess? Do they bore you? Are they not what they seem, or are they the real deal? Dozers, posers, closers.
Well, we're going to start with the Dozers first, then we're going to give you some posers, and then we're going to finish off strong with the closers, because that's how the season's going to end, with the closers. So, first on the list of Dozers,
absolutely.
The Washington Commanders.
Yeah, I mean, this is realistic. You can't really call a team led by a rookie quarterback an actual Super Bowl contender. Sure, they can be the team that upsets people, late in the season in a divisional matchup possibly. But you don't really expect them to be – they're not built for this year. They're built for down the line. They may be a poser next season or 2 seasons from now if they fix a few pieces. But right now, no. They're definitely in the dozer category. That's just my thoughts on it. I mean, I'm a big Jaden Daniels mark. I know he's going to be good. I mean, he'll probably be better than Dak. He'll be at least at very worst, the third best quarterback in that division for a few years. So I could see a division or 2 in this future, even with the Eagles in that conference.
I'm going to agree with you. I feel like they were on a hot start, but how far did we really expect the Washington Commanders to go with a rookie quarterback as a starter? Right. I mean, yes, they're having a good year. However, we saw them just take, was it 2 straight losses, I believe?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 straight losses. It's this when it starts to get to where it's very important for them to start picking up a win this late in the season. I see at least 2 or 3 more losses on their schedule. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, they're gonna doze. They're dozing.
Yeah.
Next team on the list,
but
the Seahawks.
Every year we want them to be a special team, but it's just something in the water. It's like they're one of those good but not good enough teams.
Yeah. I don't think everybody wants the Seahawks to be good. I think everybody wants Geno to surprise us. I think that's where it falls. I think everybody wants Geno to surprise us because he's been surprising us. But I feel like he's regressed quite a bit since that year. That his first year back, he started shining. His first year back, he did really well. And he kind of just
Last year, year
fell off.
before,
Yeah,
right?
he just kind of regressed ever since then. He's just not living up to who he was a few years ago. And I mean, like, who are we to like really expect that of him? We thought that Gino was gonna be something that he wasn't. But yeah, Seahawks are dozers. I don't see them pulling off anything. They'll probably take the division, but that's it.
Mm. It's almost being served up to them at this rate. I mean,
Exactly.
Cardinals, Rams. I mean, anybody could win it. It's up in the air in that division for real, for real.
True.
Anybody could fall off. San Francisco could continue to slide. Arizona could continue to slide. But are Seattle a real contender? No.
No.
Even if they took off and stayed on a winning streak, kind of like the Eagles, I don't. They don't have it.
Right.
They're too inconsistent, and you can see it for one in their point differential. It's 7. It's +7. They're too inconsistent on both sides. So, yeah, they're not good enough. And frankly, yeah, they're dozers.
Dozers. All right, next on the list of dozers. The Denver Broncos.
Absolutely.
Speaking of teams that just came out and shocked you, this team. But the reason why they're dozers is because of the same deal with the Commanders is they don't have it with this rookie quarterback. And they got lucky in this past game against the Browns. And what I saw from Bo Nix is that he just wasn't having it. He struggled against the Browns. And that's very telling because if he starts to play against a team that's really like that in the playoffs, was where he will meet that team. And like I think the number one team plays the seventh team. Like I don't know
The
how.
number one team gets the bye.
Oh yeah. Number 2 gets the 7.
2 plays 7.
Yeah, so it looks like it could be any of these teams.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I just
We're
feel like
Broncos is good defense. Yeah, go on.
yeah, I
My
just
bad.
feel like with Bo Nix, they're gonna struggle some more. So I'm not too
Mhm.
confident in where they're supposed to be. They're not where they want to be or where we expect them to be. They're dozers for sure.
They're relying on a strong defense. They have a rookie quarterback. It's still up in the air who's going to be the lead running back in this offense. It's still up in the air for the most part who's really going to be the number one receiver in this offense. So, I mean, if you don't even have that strong of an identity offensively, what can you really expect to do? I mean, you're just going to be I understand Sean Payton's supposed to be this genius, but you can only do so much with what you've been given. They're a couple years away. Bo Nix is probably the guy, but you still got to give them people to work with. Still got to give them a run game. You still got to give them weapons. You still got to give them a strong a line as you can. But you got to do it while this defense is still solid, while they're still performing. So they're dozers because offensively they just ain't got it like that. Nix is good though, but they ain't got it like that.
Agreed. I agree with you there. No argument. So you're not gonna get any you're not gonna get any controversy from me. Not today.
Well,
But the Chargers.
But
the Chargers, this is shocking. Is it really? Now that I'm not surprised that they're dozers because I'm not a big Jim Harbaugh fan.
Daddy, don't you know Santa Claus is going to town?
Yeah, Santa Claus is coming to town. Unlike the Chargers going to the playoffs. That is the bench baby, ladies and gentlemen. The Chargers. I'm just not confident. I'm not a big Jim Harbaugh fan, and I feel like the expectation for him to completely turn this team around, it was just bad. It was bad. Like we shouldn't have. Like it's one thing. Yes, he's a solid coach, but like to just expect him to completely make tearing this team from what they were with Seth Henry or whoever it was. I call him Seth Meyers sometimes. But to expect him to change that team just like that, I didn't think it was possible. So
Another one, the defense is playing outstanding early on in the season. It was led by the run game, but the run game is taking a hit. I mean, Dobbins is out, and they're relying on Gus Edwards and Vidal. So you can't really have much hope out of that. Offensively, it's still, again, up in the air with this team who the number one receiver is. Could be Quentin Johnson, could be Ladd McConkey, but I think their best bet is Harbaugh in the defense, and Harbaugh turns teams around. He does. He does win. He's won in college. He's won in the pros. But yeah, I mean, Chargers, they're not fun to watch.
yeah,
I don't subscribe to the Church of Justin Herbert. I'm not a fan. I don't buy his potential.
I am not a fan of Justin Herbert
That's
at
it.
all. At
The
all.
Chargers to me are not a team I want to watch in January. They're not a team I want to watch now. They don't excite me. I don't see the potential there. Not this year. Posers.
Agreed.
Not even dozers. Just put them over there on a cot. Give them a pillow and a blanket.
They sleepy.
Mm-hmm.
And the final team on the list of Dozers, the Atlanta. How did we get there? Falcons. This is a team that, like, they had potential to be a very good team, and then they decided that Kirk Cousins was the way to go. We decided we was going to put a lot of money into Kirk Cousins. And we already know that Kirk Cousins is, like, wanted. He's a fugitive on the run for grand theft. The man has stolen money from every organization he's been in. And it's insane.
He's ripped off a few teams, getting a couple franchise caps in Washington, franchise tags, getting that Minnesota contract, which led to just a bunch of average and mid-core. And now he's in Atlanta, trying to pick up the pieces of that team that hasn't really showed they could be anything anyway. I mean, he's just him being his average, the average quarterback that he is, he couldn't really uplift that team. You couldn't really rely on him to do it. They were smart. They could have just invested that money on other pieces. I can't really think offhand of who, but you can't even safely say this team is a year away or 2 years away because most of the talent they acquired before Cousins got there hasn't stepped up at all. Like Drake London's improved. Ray McLeod's, the other receiver who's helping, I'm not remembering. Like the receivers don't really wow you. Pitts is a disappointment, like a big-time disappointment. Bijan's the shit. Algier, whatever. He's okay. I mean, he could be a number one. I mean, he's probably more of a committee back, but he could carry the load. He's shown it. But it's not even necessarily the offense. It's, to me, it seems to be more of a defensive issue. Like, yeah. They just go on.
So what I think it's like when like you're not performing badly, but you're just not finishing as a team.
Yeah.
And I don't know, and I'm necessarily because they have a solid enough defense, but I feel it, and they have weapons on offense. I feel like they're just not finishing, like they're not making the plays that a winning team, that even opposing team, a team that was pretending to be good, is doing. They're just coming out there and they're just like, "Yep, we're gonna lose. We're going to pretend to be good, but you're not going to be attracted to what you're seeing." And that's exactly what the Falcons are.
I mean, realistically, by any stretch, Tampa Bay should be the team leading that division. New Orleans started out hot, but they would have fell into the dozers category eventually anyway, even with that nice little 90 points in the first two games they had. Next.
Well, before we get to the next, I just want to say that the Falcons was really a difficult one for you because they were teetering on poser and dozer, so it
Yeah.
was really rough for you. But it was just that horrible record that they have right now.
They're on a run of they're not good. Like the roster isn't good.
And
We
I hate
may
to say
want to
this.
be good. We may hope that's good because we see the talent, but they're not playing up to the talent that some of us fans see or believe in them. And there's a few teams like that across this list, especially Seattle. So,
Yeah,
like we all see the talent in Seattle, and we all know they've been middle of the pack for a good 4 or 5 years now. So yeah, that's Seattle. I mean, they've been in this kid. They've been here because they're always around the playoff line, but they're irrelevant,
right.
and that's what makes them dozers in a nutshell. These are the actual playoff contenders that are truly irrelevant when it
Yeah.
comes to the playoffs.
Well,
That's as of now. Keep in mind, week 14. We're going to do this again later on. But yeah, next up.
well, those are the dozers. It's time for you guys to wake up. Get rid of the. We're done with dozers. Now let's talk. Let's start looking at people who we think who pretend to be good, but they're not. Let's talk about some posers. And the first team on the list of posers is the Kansas City Chiefs. They're the biggest group of posers in the world. Yeah, I said it. And the reason why I say this is because you're 11-1. Was it 11-1 or is it 10-1?
It's 11-1.
11-1.
According to my Junior Woodchuck guidebook, it's 11-1.
11-1, and not a single one of your victories seemed decisive. Maybe one or two might have been decisive. I wasn't watching every game. But what I will say is, like,
how would you define decisive?
Decisive is a game where you're like up by 14 or 21 points. Anything between
At the end of the game, you mean final score?
Yeah, final score 10 to 17 points is decisive. Like they could not come back.
They've had two of those. They've had two of those this season. Against the Saints when they were like fall apart rabbit, totally collapsing, and they beat 49ers. Also, injuries affected them by 10. So
those are the only decisive victories. That is truly in every form a poser, because they're not winning decisively. They're not winning like an 11-1 team. They look 11. They look like they're not exciting to watch this year. Like I'm not happy. I don't get any excitement from that. Boulevard has to excessively do analytics when he's watching the Chiefs because he's got to go deep into it to find some enjoyment. It's crazy for someone to have to do that much analytics just to enjoy a primetime game of the Kansas City Chiefs. That's bad.
I'm not doing it to enjoy the game.
You gotta, but you, but you gotta do your analytics to actually find the enjoyment there, because there's no enjoyment. You gotta go deep into your mind and fabricate some excitement in the Kansas City, because they're not exciting to watch, and that's what we want in football.
I mean, counterpoint. Like they did win a bunch of games, and many of them were close, like 7 points and under. But wasn't that like just a testament of being able to win in any situation?
No,
I know I'm totally avoiding the fact that there was some things that happened, some suspicious behaviors in a lot of those games at crucial moments that did affect the course of those games. I'm trying to be unbiased and not bring that up. But we all know the dudes in the Foot Locker shirts like the Chiefs.
And even with that, they still fail to win decisively. That is exactly why you're posers. The only reason why they're not dozers is because they have an 11-1 record. But honestly, if it wasn't for that 11-1 record, I'd be falling asleep watching the Kansas City Chiefs. Posers.
Yeah, this ain't the Andy Reid offense we used to by any means. But I mean, they still score. They have a lot of help. Kind of disappointed in Worthy so far, but I mean, I don't really expect much out of Worthy anyway. But I expected a few more highlights. They're mostly it's the defense carrying this team to the promised land, and that is a solid defense, and injuries haven't really fucked them up too bad. So that being said, if Mahomes gets it right, or whoever the hell, whatever the issue is with that offense and Mahomes' play, if they can get it right, they're definitely closers because this is the Chiefs. That's why, I mean, Dozers is kind of mean because we know where this team has been, what they're capable of. But they're not a team that excites you to watch, not like the Chiefs that we're used to. You're right about that. Unless you like defensive battles, it's not. Yeah, it's not yesterday's Chiefs team. I get that.
It's not. Next on the list of posers, the poser McPosers.
It's not.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, hell yeah.
Now.
Hell yeah.
I'm just never interested. There's one thing is that the Steelers are always going to find a way to pull 8 wins out of their asses. But where do they go from here? Does it continue? Like, do they continue to win? I don't know. And that's what makes you a poser in the NFL. That's what makes your team a poser. If you can look at a team and you can say, I don't know if they're going to continue to win. I don't know if they're going to be a playoff contender. I don't know. When it comes out and they're saying I don't know, that alone is exactly why you get put in a category as a poser. Like, we don't know what you're capable of doing because there's just not enough there. Like, even with the success that the Steelers have had, I just don't know if this is sustainable success. I don't know if the team that they have are going to be able to do it on the biggest stages. I don't know if Russell Wilson has it in him. I'm just not confident. That's why I put him there.
I like this revitalized, rejuvenated Russell Wilson that's actually making some noise over there. I mean, there's no future in it. Like, I mean, this is like a flash in a pan kind of thing where it's just all the right chemicals coming together to make this happen. I mean, we know what happened last year with Russ, how it looked like he just fallen off and was done so. But being around Mike Tomlin has a way of making players play their asses off. He may not win your playoff game, might not win you Super Bowls, but he will always get you. He will always put a good, competitive, hard-fighting team out there, no matter the opponent. And you can respect that. But long term, I don't know about the future of this team. Short term, I don't know about the future of this team. I don't necessarily trust those running backs, not even as a committee. I don't necessarily trust those wide receivers, not even as a committee. Pickens is solid. Freiermuth is solid. The line, I don't really know. I can't speak on it. I don't really know. But I know there's some pieces on defense. The defense is solid, but the defense isn't going to be able to carry this team. It's not that strong to carry this team through the playoff. So the offense falls off there, and they're like, if 1 or 2 bad throws from Russ are completely shit in the bed, realistically. If that happens, as solid as the defense is, I wouldn't be able to trust them in the playoffs if Russ has a bad game. There's no other weapons offensively I would trust to carry the load if Russell Wilson had a bad game. So if they face a good defense that's prepared to stop them, I don't see the Chiefs. I don't see the Steelers having a good time.
So,
Posers.
and something that you said a lot in your something you said a lot, and it's what I said is what makes a team a poser. You said
Mhm.
I don't know quite a bit while you were describing the Chiefs. I mean the Steelers. And that is the reason why I throw the Steelers in the list of posers. The Texans is another team. Sophomore slumping.
Mm.
Football porta potty dumping.
Analytics.
Analytics. Yes. The Texans are
Pushing real
posers.
good.
The Texans are posers.
Yes.
And
Go on. Explain.
before I explain, just know that these guys, these posers, are so bad that and they do the posing so well that Boulevard didn't even go off screen to do all analytics.
I didn't?
he, he didn't even go off screen to do his
Oh,
analytics.
shit.
But anyway, the Texans, they just look like they're
I've seen Jim
broken.
Ross do worse on these things.
They look broken. Like you ever see something and it's like that looks like it look like you ever seen like a really nice car? You're like, oh, that might be a nice behind car. It probably sounds good. And then when you get in it, it's not moving, it just don't work. That's what the Texans are. They just look like a really nice ride. But it rides like dog shit. It's just
Are you implying that the Texans are a jalopy, a hoopty,
yes.
a lemon?
This season, just this season, I think they'll turn it around next year. 100%. I think next season they'll be a completely different. They'll turn it around next year. I believe that they do have a sophomore slump, and I'm wondering when it's gonna hit. I feel like week 17, week 18, they'll be like, oh shit, that's what we got to do. We'll get back to normal.
Are
But
you
I feel like
implying the Texans are a 6'4" Impala on blocks?
I wouldn't say on blocks, but they're definitely on stock tires. They're just like they're on stock tires that are about to go. They need their new tires. They need something new. Because they have a great team. There is no reason for them to be performing the way they are.
Injuries did not help.
True. But they it's like you look at them and like you look at the players. Nico Collins, Tank Dell. These guys aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. So you're watching them and you're just like, what's going on? You're looking at them and you're like, what's going on? Why are we not coming out here lighting it up? Because you look at the Detroit Lions, they got a quarterback that has no legs left. It's just like, I don't know. Maybe the Detroit Lions isn't a good explanation, a good comparison. But
this
anyway,
team lost to the Titans. That should say plenty. They lost to the Titans. They lost to the Jets. I mean, a good team would have beat those teams.
Yeah.
Early in the season, they were beating the teams they were supposed to beat, seeing as to how it all played out. Beat the Jets, even beat the Lions, beat the Cowboys, but they barely got past the Jaguars last week. They barely got past the Jaguars. This is after losing to the Texans. These are teams you shouldn't have trouble with if you're a good team.
Right.
Make whatever excuse you want. You don't have any business losing to the Titans or the Jaguars this season
at all.
So, to me, that tells me that either they backsliding or they were never as good as we thought they were. Maybe it's injuries, whatever fucking excuse it is, doesn't matter, because what matters is this team's going backwards. Even if they won the game last week, they have no business beating the Jaguars by just 3 points.
Right.
That's even after blowing up Trevor Lawrence, Joey Lawrence, whatever the fuck his name is, they all
Zach Morris.
Yeah, whatever.
Ronnie
Trevor
Bass.
Lawrence is
Ronnie Bass.
trash. Huh.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
were dumpster fire.
and all that stuff. That's yeah. I mean, I got
All right.
thoughts of Trevor Lawrence. He reminds me of the dude that kept doing this on days to confuse the main kid. But everybody else say he looked like sunshine. That's neither here nor there. Point is, Texans to prove that to be an actual closer, you have to beat the meek teams. You have to beat up on the weak teams. You have to feast on those. And they've not done that. Not to mention, they lost to the Vikings, the Packers, the Lions, and the Jets. So when they're playing the good teams, they're also losing.
Mm,
Posers.
posers.
Well, one of the few definitions of a poser. They're not there. They'll fight you, but they're gonna lose, and everybody around there knows it. They just want to see how badly.
Well, let's look at another poser. The Green Bay Packers.
There. Oh yeah, one of the
So
teams that beat
this
the
is
Texans.
actually a struggle for you.
Hmm?
This was actually a struggle for you. You and another team on this.
Mhm.
You didn't. Part of you wanted to state that the Packers were closers. Part of you didn't think that they were. I'll say that I think the Packers are closers because I don't trust Jordan Love. I don't have enough reason to trust Jordan Love. I feel like he's a really good quarterback, and down the road he's going to make things happen. Just like what you said about the Packers in an earlier conversation, was that every week the Packers have a different receiver who's doing something. And that's not to say that the other guys are still doing something. It's just like somebody's not performing, so somebody has to do something. As opposed to when you look at the Eagles, it's like AJ Brown's always going to perform. Devontae Smith will do enough. I mean, but we'll get into the Eagles later. The Packers just aren't exciting enough for me. That's why I look at them as posers. They're not somebody who's shaking the tree. So it's just not enough for me to think that they're closers.
Plus, I mean, Josh Jacobs, I believe he's third or fourth in the league in rushing. McKinney's leads the league in interceptions. Well, 7. That's a crazy number to be this early in the season. I mean, you've had the injuries. But again, like I said with the other team, like you beat the teams that you're supposed to beat if you're a good team. And that's why I had trouble with it because they're on a 3-game winning streak. 2 of those games are against teams that you actually expected to make some noise this season. And they beat them pretty damn strongly. That's the sort of shit that makes me struggle with it because I don't tend to pay attention to Green Bay. I mean, because it's Green Bay.
Yeah.
They don't really, yeah. So, I mean, as a personality, the team would be in the fucking dozers. But, like, I mean, this is a team that I could see making noise next month. When it really matters, I could see them doing something. So, in my heart, they may be closers. But I think it's more depends on this week, actually. When they go to play Detroit, I think that'll make more of a statement of whether they're posers or closers. Because if they can walk in Detroit, get that win, we have to anoint them as closers.
We do. We do.
So I'm on the fence with them right now, but I'm almost rooting for you, at least to win the NFC North.
Well,
Definitely this week because we need you to put a beat down on Detroit so the Eagles can walk out of Carolina with their heads held high, tied for number 1.
Yeah. Well, here's another team you're probably not too sure about. The Minnesota Vikings. Another posers.
Yeah, see them. I think I lean more towards posers with them because Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Sam Darnold. But it's probably the defense that's doing all the heavy lifting over there.
Yeah.
But still Sam Darnold. And the point is with these, are these teams for real? Are they a mirage? You know, what have you? Where do these teams truly stand? And I don't know with this team. In spite of their wins, I mean, if this was a power rankings of the playoff contenders, they'd be the team ahead of Atlanta and no one else. I don't buy it with this team. They've got good wins. Actually, they don't have too many good wins. Cardinals, Bears, Titans, Jag, Colts, Jets, won over the Packers, went over to the Niners, went over to Texans. I guess those are early seasons. But late season, they don't have too many good wins. They lost to the Lions and they lost to the Rams. They don't have good wins. I don't really. Yeah, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this team is probably posers because you are who you beat and they're feasting on a week, but they already lost to the Lions. So, and that's the team that they'd have to upend for anything to matter.
Yeah.
So, they got who they got ahead of them: Falcons, Bears, Seahawks, Packers, Lions. That's probably 2 and 3 for them. They'll probably win 2, lose 3 at best, 3 and 2.
Correct.
So safe to go ahead and knock them down a peg. They got 10 wins now, but they may be just a paper 12 and 5 in a couple weeks. Just ready to be knocked out in the first round.
I hear that. And I agree with you. It's just the Vikings. Sam Darnold, basically. That's what it falls down to me. It's just Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold and a good defense just means you have a good defense.
Yeah. And he's the guy that you're probably going to sit down next year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
First chance you get to get a better option. You'd be crazy not to. Sam Darnold is still the Sam Darnold. Just because all them quarterbacks, they get that damn Carolina stink off of them. He's still Sam Darnold.
Still
he
Sam
Darnold. Me yet.
All right. Now we get rid of the posers. Time for us to be for real.
Ooh.
Let's go to the category that matters. These teams matter. They are the closers. And the first closer on the list, the team that clinched a playoff berth, the Buffalo Bills. I like it. I like these guys.
Yeah.
I hate to see Josh Allen actually come out here and dominate, but he's doing it. The Buffalo Bills are closers. I mean, they're doing it,
Yeah.
They're doing it. They're doing it decisively. They're not struggling to beat teams. They're just beating teams.
No, they are not.
So,
second highest point differential in the league. 7-game win streak. Yeah, undefeated at home, undefeated in the division. Yeah, they're exactly where they deserve to be with accolades like that. You got an MVP. You got the current favorite in some people's eyes for the MVP. You got James Cook, who's been playing excellent. I mean, didn't they just get Diggs? There's all sorts of whatever there, but I mean, this is a team that's built to win. They play in cold weather. If they get home field advantage, every team will have to come through Buffalo in January. It's all lined up for them to make some noise this year. Chiefs took a step backwards. Bengals took a step backwards. Ravens are the Ravens. It's like it's right there for them. We all know Tua is not going to go to Buffalo in January, for example, and get a win. So
Tua in Buffalo. Jeez. The only
right.
good thing about Tua in Buffalo is that he didn't get a concussion in Buffalo.
That boy's good at getting concussions. He may be better at that than he is at playing quarterback. So yeah, Buffalo. I don't want Josh Allen to get the MVP, but y'all have seen. I mean, Richard Sherman had some words on it. I don't disagree with that statement either. I have my favorite, but we all know they've been trying to get Josh Allen the MVP. These people with the heads and the ties on TV, with the hairs all perfectly sprayed, they've been trying to get Josh Allen the MVP for like 3 years now. So,
yeah,
it's Buffalo's time, I guess.
It's Buffalo's time.
I mean, hopefully somebody in that conference can just go in there and do something in January. Looking at you, Lamar, Derek, Rashad, Beyonce, maybe.
Well,
going to Buffalo, do some damage.
The next closing team,
Quan,
the team,
Kyle.
true closers. Boulevard's upset. He does not like you.
I need Buffalo to be knocked down. I can't have it. I can't have them singing the praises of Josh Allen all of next season. No, I just can't do it. I will not turn on damn ESPN 1 second during the NFL season if Josh Allen wins the MVP next year, because they will be kissing his ass so fucking passionately. Ugh. No, I can't do it.
So next on the closing list is the greatest team that ever did it, the Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh, wait. I mean, we're not biased over here. We're really not.
We're not biased
at all. We're really not. We're not biased at all.
No, wait. We can't play that full song. We're not biased over here. We are probably one of the most non-biased teams that has ever done it. So understand what we say. We picked the Eagles. The reason we picked the Eagles is 100% because we truly value what they're doing on the field. So just know that. We don't pick the Eagles because we're biased. But the Eagles are indeed a closing team. They are closers, you know?
I mean, how can you not see that? You see the way they close out games? They hand it to Saquon and make a path for him. That's the definition of closing out a game the right way.
Yeah.
Shit.
That's the closing, you know, closes in the truest form. But
do they have the weak spot? Yeah, we'll cover that because I may have found something. But
I'm not going to go too in depth with the Eagles.
To that. That's another episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go on. I'm actually making a note over here for that episode.
Let's move on to the next closing team.
No, wait, we're still talking. Oh, wait, yeah, we can't really go into the Eagles right here because we're going to do that in our actual Eagles episode.
Yes.
So,
the Lions.
Much as I would like their praises, we're going to have like a whole hour to sing their damn praises. So, look forward to that.
No, the Lions, they're probably, without question, truly the true closer in the league this year, and I hate it. Everything about me, the fiber of my being, thinking about the Detroit Lions being the top team right now is insane.
I love their run game. I love the Sonic and Knuckles.
I love that too.
Man.
In the fact that
every game you see one do something, then the other one does something. You can't help but enjoy that as a fan.
It's that's pretty cool. But like these guys have this. They bust everybody's ass.
Yeah.
Literally sticking it to everybody.
I
It's
mean,
like,
realistically, if it didn't have to go through Philly, I wouldn't be mad at Detroit Buffalo. I really wouldn't. But it's got to go through Philly, so that can't happen. But Detroit, yeah, Detroit is the real fucking deal. And I don't like that. I don't like that team could potentially actually be better than Philly. The highest point differential in the league, undefeated on the road, no less. Was that?
wow.
Let me see. Let me double check this. Yep, tied for the highest scoring offense in the league. One of the lowest scoring defenses in the league, possibly second. Yeah, it looks like second best scoring defense, and tied for the first number one scoring offense.
Wow.
Yeah, that's dominance. That's pure fucking dominance. That is a
It's dominant.
10-game win streak. As I said, undefeated at home. You can't say that this team isn't the real deal. You
Yeah.
can't.
And it's so crazy because it's the Detroit Lions.
Yes. Sort of futility. Wayne Fontes. What's that dude named Clay Ford? Those are the only names I remember. Well, Barry, Herman Moore, Megatron. I ain't talking about them. I ain't talking about Kevin Smith, who, when he got drafted, jumped out of his seat and said, "Yeah, next Barry."
Oh,
that's what he said. I don't think he was the next second coming of Barry. But in that moment, in his little heart, he believed he could be the next Barry Sanders. Oh, it's Kevin Smith. Anyway. Yeah, the Lions, for once, are actually the real deal. Could be the best actual team in the league. Some would argue, but the numbers say that they're the best team in the league.
1 second.
He's going to do whatever, but I mean, I'm actually going to pause it now. Hold on.
All right. Okay.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
I'm sorry. Things got a little chaotic here at home.
It happens.
My kids came home basically. But yeah, yeah. So yeah, we were just finishing up with the Lions, I believe.
We spoke plenty on the Lions. I sung all of their praises. And everything short of actually literally kissing their damn feet. But I do not concede that head to head, I think the Eagles will still kick their ass. But that's my
I
point.
do too.
That's right.
I do too.
A win streak, point differential, all of that irrelevant when your hands are in the trenches. So
Correct.
Comes down to the trenches. My Eagles can beat their Detroit Lions. So.
And let's go back. Now let's finish out and let's do what we're supposed to do and close out with the final team on this closers list. The Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I personally would have put the Ravens on the closers list. However, I could see where they are closers because they are the Ravens. The Ravens, they win. They do.
Yeah, we may have dropped the ball in this one. The Ravens may have actually been posers because history states with them that they're not going to close. Like they don't. They have all the regular season celebrations, awards, merits, honors, call it what you want to.
Yeah.
And it's all Lamar before this season. While you can say that this is the new Ravens team since they have Henry, when it came down to it last week, you saw that it was the same old thing.
Yeah.
Now, you can't put it all on Lamar. You can't put it all on Henry. You can't put it all on any one specific spot, except that year after year, there weren't very strong running backs in Baltimore. They made a trade for Deontay Johnson. Then he didn't want to go in the game. My sources say it's because he was scared of that Eagles defense. But, I mean, my sources have been known to drink a lot of Black Watch vodka. I don't know. You can't really trust them. I listen to what they say because they're always very convincing when they're like, yeah. I'm not going to be mean and do impression of them because alcoholism is not funny. Even if you just made the person up. But yes, the Ravens on their best day would truly be closers. But for whatever reasons, the lack of talent on the boundaries or the guys making the play calls or the guy taking the snaps, they don't actually close. And we may have overstated this team. So, I mean, hey, whatever. We did it. So let's try. I guess we can try to find a scenario where they are closers, where Harbaugh actually has a system in place that benefits the receivers, that benefits the tight ends, that, benefits Lamar. I mean, his numbers are great. His interceptions are low. His completion percentage is high. His yards per pass is pretty damn good as well. But they just don't beat good teams. I mean, they don't beat the top teams, and you're not going to get very far when it gets cold, when every game matters, if you're only playing the best teams, and you can't beat the best teams.
Correct.
So that would mean that they're not truly closers, but out of the teams that have come before this, with the exception of Kansas City, maybe, they're probably the fourth best team overall. Fourth or fifth best team in the league. So
I agree.
That doesn't come without any fucking value in itself.
But I'll say this: I feel like when it matters in the playoffs, I think they will close, and then in the big game, they'll pose.
Big game being the one that they call the big game if they can't afford to stay Super Bowl.
Oh no! I feel like the Ravens will be in the Super Bowl this year. I think the Ravens will take an L in the Super Bowl. I think the Super Bowl is going to be the game of birds. It's going to be.
Don't tell me yet. That's for Week 18.
Oh, I'm sorry. Really, I guess I can't tell y'all. It's for Week 18.
Yeah, that's for when that decision matters, because we can say it every week and it can change fluidly, but don't matter till it matter. But yeah, that's your list. What do you think?
That is our list of dozers, posers, and closers. Feel free to give us your opinion. But before we go, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce you guys to the newest member of the LFTV team. He is a former defensive lineman, defensive tackle turned edge defender. Moro Anomo. Get it? If you're an Eagles fan, you would know they have a defensive
Moro
Ajomo. It's Moro Anomo.
Okay. Well, that works. He's wearing Redskins colors. I mean, Commanders colors, but I ain't saying that. He's just from DC is all. Okay.
Listen, he's not a winner. And we know we did posers, closers, and dozers, and and everybody, for the sake of this episode,
losers or drawers.
I like to say this.
That's what he likes to say, y'all. Yep.
We can't all be closers. Haha, this I knew there. What she said. Instead of the screaming, Boulevard has his favorite thing he likes to say, and he can do it better than no one else. Wait, no one else can do it better than he can. And let them know what they can do, Boulevard.
Okay. Hit the bench.